Call the Newbury Historical Commission meeting to order at 7 o'clock, 7:08. We'll do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming.
Poor Rich, it looks like even if you're a bad boy, you're on the only one that's side today.
It's a personal hygiene thing.
No,
Okay, everybody grab your minutes from last month's meeting. Any corrections? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of September 8th as written.
I move that we accept the minutes of September 8th as written.
Second. Lon on the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done.
Yay. One thing now.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a report since
Good.
I didn't know we were meeting until a little later this week and didn't have a chance. Nothing's changed. It's exactly the same as last time, except that now I'll say that the porta potty comes out this week or next week, the first.
All
So that'll go, and then that gets paid monthly, so it's all paid for and everything. We'll get that out of there, and then once I file for that, then the budgets will change. It's in the commitments file right now. Anything else? Should I talk about the brochure now, Jan, or not?
No, we'll do that on the...
Okay.
I guess
So
that'd
that's
be old
exactly the
business,
same
old
as
business.
before. We'll be depositing $140. It's sitting on my dresser, so I just have to put down to town hall.
What was it, 140?
140, yeah. We won't,
Okay, that's it from the treasurer. Website report is Rebecca. She's out sick tonight. Maybe they'll give her some time to work on that. She's still work in progress there. Correspondence, incoming correspondence.
I sent a thank you note to Margaret Eaton for the horse show, and I kept listening to the minutes, and I'm like, when did you give it? You gave that, I think you gave that show around before we actually started the meeting. Was it in the last month? Because we were in here.
Yeah.
So, because it was not in the minutes anywhere. So I'm like, I think it was showing that, because I said, oh, I brought photos, and then I think we were talking about it before we actually did it, so, but I wanted to know I sent her a thank you note. Martha thanked us for all of our help on getting the master plan update. That's one. I had sent her an email and asked her about there was supposed to have been a report from the, the gentleman that did the barn.
Guy from Vermont? I
Yeah.
know,
And it's in the minutes of the Board of Selectmen from,
The original selectmen's meeting.
from August of 2016, that he was supposed to submit a report, and they were supposed to submit it to the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Board, and us. And when I went to the meeting when they're talking about changing the status of the land there, and it dawned on me that I thought we were supposed to have been getting something, but I couldn't remember what it was at that point, so I
What
found the
was the
minutes.
report for? The condition of the barn
Yeah, it was supposed
itself?
to show the actual history, because he said he could
Okay.
tell things better when he took it apart, because
Yeah.
I believe at the time we questioned about when certain things had been,
Timeline,
put into the barn, and the cupolas and that stuff, and he was gonna be able to find out better when he took it apart, so we never got it. And I asked Martha if they got it, maybe we just didn't get a copy, and she didn't have it, and she checked with Julie for the select board, and she couldn't find anything either, and I gave her the date in a later email and said, this is where I got the information from, and to the best of my knowledge, she said she checked with Julie, and she can't find a report submitted either, and she was going to contact Marshall to see if they have it and if they would please forward it. So she asked if she wanted us to do it, and I said, yes, we'd appreciate it if you would handle that and then get back to us. So that's what that's about. It was just a kind of a fluke, because I was like, no, we're supposed to get something. So that's that piece. And then Eva had sent some suggestions after I submitted the master plan. So I asked her to please just forward it to Martha, because she was talking about the Great Meadow Farm and the trustees of reservations, Old Town Hill, and things like that. So she sent that to Martha, and Martha said they were suggestions, and she gave some information, so.
Yeah, she couldn't find that report. I wonder if she found it.
I don't know.
2007.
So that takes care of that one.
And
Mm-hmm.
the information on the indigenous people.
Yes, and we've got an email. Hi, I'm a visitor to Plum Island, and I was curious about the history, but surprised to see that the account of history begin with the European settlers. I would have expected at a minimum the name of the indigenous people who inhabited the land upon the settlers arriving, maybe a mention of the condition of their removal, and ideally details into their history on this land. Hope you consider putting that on your site. So I'm assuming she went on our website to see if she could find information.
We could pull off what's in the master plan. I mean, there's a section of that in the master plan.
Is there?
And I think there's stuff in Nancy Weir's book on Plum Island. I could be wrong, but I'd have to look it up. So we might want to look into that and just put.
Reverend Boylan talks about the falls there and the tribes there, and then so I don't know what book he pulled that from, but I just listened to that.
I don't know either.
And cooking the snakes in the big pot at the dam.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that would be a good
Protein.
reference to make, but I don't know, I haven't seen, I've got a packet on Native American in this area. I haven't looked at it.
I have a reference, I thought I had it with me, but that I got from the Newburyport Library that has a map of the local area, and it's got
Texas.
X's.
I have that.
You have that map?
I
And
did.
it has a reference at the bottom, so we could chase it down.
Yeah, I gotta find that packet. I actually looked in my bookcase where I thought it was, and it wasn't there.
I thought I had it here, but I've got it at home
You know
somewhere.
who else has a good write-up on Native American in this area is the the state of Massachusetts
I was
website.
just about to say that, they just brought
Excellent.
that solar panel report from last month,
Yeah,
cited the, having to do the survey there because of the significance of the Native American activity on Scotland Road.
yeah.
They wanted us to do the radar survey on the land because of that area.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of reference to that area, but I'll check that.
I just
Website.
read a book by, I think, Goodwell, it talks about the North Shore tribes and things like this, and when they were here and dates and things like that. It doesn't talk about Plum Island specifically, or even Newbury, but it talks about the different groups and how they communicated, the
This far
trails.
East?
I'll give,
Pennacook.
Pennacook.
yeah.
Pennacook and Nipmuc.
Micmac, well, Micmac were on Plum Island, but they came down from
From
Maine.
Maine.
Yeah, because they were part of Abenaki.
Right, there's still a few, yeah,
Yeah,
there's still a few out there.
Most
Most
of this stuff that was in New Hampshire, that was the book I read.
I guess that's gonna take some
a little day.
gathering
Yeah.
of information and
Yeah,
then,
I'll listen to Boylan's tape again and see what
yeah,
he
see
says.
if you can get
I
a
don't know if
reference
it's
to
out of
that.
Elwell or what, but he talked all about the tribe at the falls.
Yeah,
And I'll find that map and chase down the reference, because the reference is in Boston Public Library.
and I've got a survey they did in the 30s of the Merrimack Valley.
Yeah,
Really Newburyport, maybe. I haven't looked at it for a while, but I'll look at that too. And I'll look at the state website and Ware's book, I've got that.
I do too.
I'll get you the information on that book I just.
Did yours crack
I
the?
went and
crack
listened
this
to a
one?
lecture,
Not
and had a
yet.
book. I read the book.
No, I opened it the other day.
They all do.
No, because you said that, but mine was okay.
Okay, in correspondence, I got an email from the town administrator's office about the historic district. I'll bring that up under old business. You have anything else? Nothing else in correspondence?
No, wait a minute.
Oop,
I'm trying to finish it.
Yeah. For that easy.
I had one, I'm not that old.
And the
We had one growing up too.
Mass Historical,
survey.
oh. They're doing the preservation plan update, so there's a survey out there, but it has to be done by the 31st, so, well, I forwarded everything I've said. The thing is we got the original email right after the last meeting, so. And then, you might want to know about that, if you didn't already see it, that's the town warden, the town.
I know, I looked at that tree again today on Columbus, and it's not an ash, it's an oak. But it does need to come down.
And then I have an email that I sent to Juan about Joni Puritan's, that the ride she took and the information, you were gonna get in touch, get the list and stuff, information from her.
I talked to her and asked her about it, she's got things going on right now, so.
So, and so did, I think, Rebecca, so
it's-
I'm working on it for you. And then the floor is yours, sir.
okay.
Did you notice how many trees on Newman Road are coming down?
Oh, the tree list.
Yeah.
They're also taking the trees down in front of, at the dam on Central Street, in front of what would have been the old mill building. They're taking a bunch of those down. But they're just old growths, not old growth, young growth. So I don't have any problem with that. Incoming correspondence, executive administrator of the town, Select Board Chair has asked me to reach out and inquire if anyone on the Historical Commission would be interested in being a member of Local Historic District Study Committee for the Lower Green. We are currently forming.
Yes.
Now, I thought we already, I
I
think we already said all this in.
Who is this
Last
from?
meeting, actually.
Right,
Who's that from?
Julie. And that's,
So that's
who
who I
sent
should
it
get in
How
touch
old
with,
is
or
that?
you wanted
to
to say?
today.
Oh, then I guess it's not old. Did I get it to
All right.
her or just you?
That's you, me. So, our recommendation, the only person was you, right?
Yeah.
Um,
You gotta get the information to the right person, apparently.
Fair.
All right.
So are you gonna do it, or am I gonna do it, are you gonna answer, is that an email or a
It's,
letter?
it's on my computer, I will do it
Yeah,
tonight.
just say live.
So it's just Lon. I have multiple emails about it already, so.
Well, the state asked some questions and we got an email about that. We talked about it last month and
Yeah,
so, yeah, it's been,
okay, other old business, how did Sales and Trails work out? Any hiccups?
16, well, the signs were
It's
sold.
disappeared.
The signs disappeared.
I found him in the attic. I found him and brought him down.
Yeah,
And they were placed along High Road. And then the next weekend, when I was there were no signs. And I was having coffee with sons and daughters over at Jack and Willett. They had 3 signs. Well, don't know what happened to the signs.
maybe the town workers are told to remove them. I know, like, the National Grid takes them off all the poles immediately, they don't even ask.
but there was a sign on the corner for something going on Newman Road.
Yeah, and
And that was
there's
still there.
political signs across the street that aren't.
Yeah, but they're not on town
But,
property.
well, but the thing is too, though, that was
A town
an
event.
event, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
So-
the schoolhouse, so,
So we don't have them for next
so
year.
we don't
I'm
know
gonna
unless
make
somebody
sure-
else needed them for something and they swiped them.
And I was gonna try to swipe one from sons and daughters, yeah, but they didn't loosen up.
All right.
We had a lot of visitors though.
I only counted 16,
Oh, really?
but there was somebody complaining about not seeing the sign. They didn't see the open sign hanging from the door, but,
Or the sign that's sitting on the sidewalk.
hey,
With our
yeah, they were
hours.
looking for
Yeah.
the event sign.
Oh, this place is never open.
Everybody that stops in, I've been here for 23 years and it's never been.
I've been here
It's
since
open
I
every
was
summer.
in grade school and I've never come in, yeah, we did. I told people we're gonna put a jar on the thing for people who say that they can throw a buck in. We could retire. The schoolhouse.
We could put the roof on the schoolhouse.
There you go, we can do
Roof.
that. So it was a success, I guess. I mean, we were there.
We did our part.
Yeah, I mean, I thought,
For hours, I mean, how many, 4 hours or something?
Yeah.
4 hours,
yeah.
All right, all right.
Our presence was known to at
Good.
least 16 visitors. Well, sometimes
Good.
people
In
don't
both
open outside the
weekends.
book either,
Right.
that's. We try to get people to, and they go, I don't want to, I go, we don't, I don't care if you even put your name on there, if you want to put Jane and John, it's fine with me, because I just have to count people to report how many visitors we have.
Yeah.
We don't send things, we're not putting you on a list.
Yeah. Go to-
Oh, okay, no problem.
Right,
And I
right.
don't blame them, because, you know,
You don't want your address.
Your social security number.
phone number, we'll be calling you, would you like to come again? I mean,
I always ask them to put their ancestors down, if
Yeah.
it's got a family name, it's, that's on the monument or something like that.
So that 16 was over 2 weeks, over 2 weekends, which I suppose isn't that bad. That's about average, what we do anyway,
it's
right?
about average, I guess, yeah.
It didn't bring any more.
But then, you know,
Maybe all those people that didn't see the sign drove by.
but then the sign is there that we're open every weekend from 1 to 3, so.
It's there every year.
Well, but plus the
For
Dole
4
House is
months.
open, the Jack and Willet House is open, so there was more than one in the area.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but what are you gonna do? People probably only had so much time maybe, and they figured they could go to the schoolhouse whenever, it's not that far, and.
I went
Who
over to
knows?
the Dole House and that was on the hours. You had to do the tour on the hour.
Did you tell them who you were?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in. I had to wait for
It
the
was
tour.
Good
So I
being,
walked
not
back to
good
the
being.
schoolhouse.
They let
And
me
I
in
walked back.
last time,
Good being.
because I told them I was opening the schoolhouse, and
That's what I told
I was on the
Major
historical commission, and they
in
went, he goes, oh, I'll sneak you in right now.
Monadnock region.
Ned.
Yeah, thank you. First 13,000.
Okay,
That was the lecture.
What else do we have? Anything else in old business?
Who knows?
So we'll,
Marshmeadow Lane, we already talked about.
Marshmallow Lane, yes, we did.
Solar panels, it's in a holding pattern.
Did you send that letter out to us? The solar panels?
Scotland Road solar panels.
You were gonna send one, it was just for, for our information.
I thought I did, but
Maybe it's attached to something else.
Yeah,
because
I don't remember
was
seeing it.
trying-
Might have been
Yeah.
part of some conversations.
I was actually looking for today's agenda.
it was for last month's, right? Last month's meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mass Historical letter about the Scotland Road applicants, and there was some great information in there about placing solar panels and not, like you said, they're supposed to be on dumps,
Yeah, right.
not on historic,
Not in neighborhoods.
Fields and
Not in
neighborhoods.
Or in neighborhoods.
and what they cited in there, we should all print out and save, so we can pull to it.
Yeah, I did.
I'd be interested.
A copy of that, right?
I think so,
Of
yeah.
the Massachusetts guidelines
Yeah.
for ground-mounted solar.
I used it like about 2 years ago for another solar thing that was going on, I think, over on Main Street.
Okay, then I will follow up when I get home and after I empty the water bucket and forward that up.
Okay.
What else we got?
I mean, really, it's common sense.
We need to get the list of anybody do anything on macros?
Rubbish.
But I did a lot of research on how old the old houses in that area, but I just haven't filled anything out. Remember I told you I was doing, finding all the old houses around the old town.
Around the schoolhouse, you mean, that area, or?
Well, that whole, yeah, that area around the green, lower green.
So
Up the road, but I haven't entered into anything.
I've got something. So our agendas should include a committee report from Lower Green, the one Lon's getting on,
The Lower Green Advisory,
committee.
The lower historic district?
Yes.
I mean, the.
Local
Historic
Local
Historic District
Historic District.
Committee.
So that should be on agenda every month.
Okay.
That way we remember to, then Lon can give us updates, so we all stay up to speed.
Yeah, sounds good. Lower Green Local Historic District Committee. There we go. That's what that is.
Local Historic
DC.
District Committee, LHDC.
LGH.
No, there's no G. Why do you have a G?
Lower Green.
Lower Green.
It's a Local Historic District
Local.
Committee.
Local Green, Lower Green Local Historic District Committee.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Lon will be sure we get it.
The LGL.
Well, he ought to know, he's a member of the panel, you gotta go with what Lon says.
Well, that's what we called it in the meeting.
What about the, yes,
I don't know, could you like make that a little clearer?
things, how are we gonna clear up the weed whacking around the monument? On Coleman Road.
Oh.
Not just that one, you know, the one on Green Street's horrible.
So we have to follow due process. Has to be done by the town. It's ours. So, we need to, I guess, notify DPW to add it to their list.
Now, can we just tell them to do it? Or does it have to go through?
I don't know, kick it back, or we need to open the correspondence.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
DPW.
We need to send a interdepartmental memo to the Director of Public Works.
For the weed whacking.
For the weed whacking of the newly acquired stone at, what number Coleman Road?
10.
10 Coleman Road.
Others, you know, that one on the
Right, the
corner,
milestones,
the milestones.
yeah.
Some of them are fine.
Yeah.
Like the one in front of Gronow's house, he keeps that beautiful.
And
The one,
Middle Road and Boston Road is always,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Clover does that one or not. But the one on the corners of Hanover and
Yes.
Green,
yeah.
which May Atkinson used to have her son do it, right? Well, that's not being done anymore since the house sold. And that one's low anyway.
It needs
Well,
to
I
get-
had, there was one day this summer
Needs to get
when I had
raised
driven
up.
by it, and then I went home and I grabbed my weed whacker and drove back out there and somebody had done it.
Really?
So, yeah.
That good, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know,
I think they do it, but it doesn't, you
they're
know,
not
they
very
don't,
consistent.
but they don't think they do it like every week or something, you know, so you probably
No,
see it
and-
right before they're about to do it, maybe.
That's
'cause-
not something they
But-
would do with their new mower, I mean, that's a weed whacker.
No,
And
it's just
that
a
whole
weed
that whole edge of the road used to be mowed. May used to have her maintenance people keep that mowed.
Well,
It's not mowed anymore.
Yeah.
well, it's probably not town property either, so where's the line there?
Town controls within 10 feet of the white line, so check it.
Between
10 feet of the fog line is under, even though it's part of your deed, they control it.
Okay, where's the white line?
Fog line,
The end line.
In
the
English,
sideline.
for those of us
Sideline.
who
Not
don't
the
know
center
these
line.
things.
the
That's
white
what
line
they
on the
said.
side of the road.
Okay, are there even white lines on the side of that road?
If it's not that, then it's 10 feet from the edge of pavement, right?
There is no pavement.
There's no pavement
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
on
not
Main
true.
Street? Pavement? Pavement,
Road's
edge of the
paved.
street. Is the street paved?
Yeah.
Then there's pavement.
Oh,
right?
I'm thinking sidewalks,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
apologize. I'm like, it's the drip.
So I know on my property,
They do mow the side of the road.
Courtney Drive, we were told, and there's a marker, 10 feet from the edge of the pavement. So,
So
That's
it's,
interesting.
they
So
start from the center of the
I've got a
road, the
tree
right of
I might
ways.
take out. I may be within 10 feet of the pavement.
Well, you can save yourself some money then, have the town do it.
Interesting.
You know, that's
Okay,
funny.
it's 10 feet from the
I
white
thought it was
line,
way
but
that
if there's
way.
no white line, it's 10 feet from, it's
From
how?
the edge of pavement.
10 feet from the edge of the pavement? Okay. That's what I started to write, then I wasn't sure.
I've got a curb, so it's supposed to be 10 feet
From the curb. Could be.
So I wonder when they change.
No,
that
you
one.
got a sideline, right? You got a white line.
That's just what they tell us, snow plowing. I mean, I don't know what.
Yeah,
what
no,
the
10
well,
feet
actually, in
from the
Newbury,
sidewalk.
you're,
Okay,
you,
oh, okay.
you
I'll have to
control
look.
to the middle line what's in front of your house. You know how someone's picking berries in front of your house and get pissed off about it? They'll say, hey, they're on the side of the road. No, if they're in front of your frontage, you have control over that herbage.
It's like going to beachfront.
It's, you can do whatever you want with it. It's your herbage, and that happened way back because that herbage on the side of the road was so important to cows.
Yeah.
And it was there's a whole bunch of laws around it, of that herbage. And you're responsible for it. But because the town goes and cuts back all the roads, they did down Low Street just a week ago.
Wish they'd
Yeah, they
go
just
on
got a
the
new
bridge.
tractor, so they're playing with their new toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at all that.
All right,
Okay.
so,
Um,
anybody else have any business before the board tonight?
see what we're looking at here. Juan, did you ever find out about that, get the ferry book and make a copy? Or do you have the ferry book, but you didn't make a copy? The Ferry House book.
Oh, no, I didn't talk to her.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I've seen it, I've looked through it.
What are you doing with this, copy this?
Well, I was going to, I'll bet it's gonna come up. Is that?
Oh, go ahead, Lon. Go
Okay,
to town.
so I checked into this, so to see if we could get some more copies printed. And so I took it to Minuteman, and they said $235 to scan it and set it up. So they would scan, it's like 44 pages long. So they would scan it and then set it up, and it would be ready for printing, and then we'd have to pay to have it printed. I thought that was outrageous, so I didn't have it done. But I did check on the people that printed this
Yeah,
and got a hold of them, and they only, and this was done, I can't remember, but it says the concept and design is by Chris.
yeah.
And then they said, well, we only keep the the proofs for 2 years afterwards, and then we get rid of them. And they said, but sometimes we keep them. Whose email address? And I thought, it'll be Chris's email address. I sent them that. They still didn't find anything. So I think calling them and just saying, hey, could you print another 100 of them is out the window. I am on their mailing list now, though, unfortunately. But, so do we want to spend 230? Or when do we begin it? By next summer? By next summer, I could scan it, do the setup myself, and then we would just have to pay for the printing costs.
But that has the 375th stuff in it too,
It's got
doesn't
the
it?
whole agenda in it.
That is
So-
the 370.
Right, that's the
This is
375th book.
375th,
So we
yeah.
don't want all that information.
It's a, thought of its
So maybe it would, maybe,
The
So we
first
ought to build
pages.
our own, so it's our own property.
Oh, I thought we just wanted more of these.
No,
Well,
see,
that
all
was-
well, that was the initial easy answer.
Yeah.
well, it does, I mean, it does give an account of what happened,
Right.
but there is a lot of it. I mean, look.
It's a whole year's worth of
I think it would make
details.
sense to
Yeah.
scan it and have an electronic version of it. But I can't get that from the original either. It probably went off with Chris's computer.
How about if Lon scans it and then prints it so we can look at it? Just print it on plain white paper.
Oh, we do
But
that.
Bethany wrote
Right,
it.
then we could go through it as a group
Or
or
what
hand it
about
out.
printing it on plain white paper? If I scan it,
Subgroup,
Jan, if
We don't
I,
have a subgroup. Barely have a group.
if I scan it, I'll send you an electronic version. There's no reason to print it.
She prints everything. She can print it at home.
well, is there enough, I mean,
Some of the
most of
stuff
the
is really
pictures,
interesting.
most of the pictures we probably got
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah, I'm sure.
But a bunch of them are probably right on our website.
Yeah,
So is there enough to reproduce that and build another one of those books? Can you broach that company and say, okay, hypothetical, if you were to print this book, how much would it cost? Minus,
Well, I'm sure it'd be cheaper just going down here to one of our local places.
no, the
They don't have the file.
The original printing
The
company
original,
doesn't have the
the
file.
print file, because otherwise, then if I just said how much for 50
Right.
and 100 of them
Right.
or whatever, they couldn't even find the account, so they couldn't find anything.
but Bethany wrote it, would she have any? Because we distributed it, right?
I think she maybe wrote one of the articles.
But she was probably on the committee, right?
No?
No?
Yeah, she wrote the reflection.
Because most of it,
Chris did it. Chris did it all.
yeah, because they've got all the
Right.
events and stuff.
And
That
I
would all
don't
change.
know, I just wondered, how much is relevant?
Yeah, if we're not going to print
Give
it,
it to
there's
people.
no reason for me to spend 30 hours
So
scanning
use
it
that
and
as a
setting up the
log,
pages.
something.
So what was,
That's what I'm
saying.
what was the reason to reprint it? so-
Just to have something else. We thought if we could just click and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there enough interesting in there to,
I think so.
But
Hey,
do we need, I'm thinking, we don't need all this information,
You don't
right?
need all this, and you wouldn't want to mark it as, you could always just rename it as,
Portion of this 375th, no, it's
Yes.
375th anniversary information. Or,
and she
something.
writes really well.
So she
the
did the
information-
reflections
Right,
thing,
and
so.
it's a good, easy
so the-
informational blip that,
But this was done for the town of Newbury, so it's the town's property, is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
So there we go. So if we do, like, the further reading thing is information, dates of interest, that's good information,
Yeah.
right? 1635, the town was done, the first
Is
100th
there any
anniversary.
reason we're going to print any more of these in total?
No.
I don't think so.
Because then I can just scan it and not set it, because what takes time is setting it up for the page. Right? I mean, just putting it and scanning it, I can do in a half hour.
I don't know
Yeah,
what I
but
see
this-
in this picture.
so
I'll do that.
So if you subtract the pages that are 375 related, and there's X pages,
Yeah,
can we contact this printing company, the faraway ones? My big auction flyers, I've printed in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all on the computer now, so, I mean,
so we really want to start on page 18 with this map and the historical reflections and go
Right,
to the,
and don't
Not
mark
the
it
back.
375, but we can always say the reflections are from, as appeared in the 375. And just
And-
use what
and-
she did.
get a price from them. I don't know if you have to take pictures of it, and for a glossy 8x8, and see, I mean, if they're gonna be $4 a piece, it's too much. But if
Yeah.
they're gonna be $2 a piece, I'd say it'd be worth it.
So, okay, and so in that case, it would have to be set up, the pages that we're gonna include would have to be set up on the page. In other words, I can scan it, and then I take the scan, and I center it, and yeah. So
so,
that'll take a while,
Well, I
but
mean,
that's okay. If
No, I
if
mean,
we're-
let's
if we're gonna
start-
do something with it.
just start with a ballpark price. Whoever you go to, or go to them both.
Well, I'll go to one just to see what the ballpark is, because they won't be, I mean, they're not gonna be twice each other. Well, no, we get a ballpark, is what I.
It's the same email, just same email to two printers. And say, take a couple pictures of it. It's 16 pages, it's this paper. If we have 100 or 200 of these made, maybe we'll add some more pictures to it, and they'll tell them to give you a breakdown.
We might add some text that includes, no, this is for what? This is for the, what is it, what's coming up?
This isn't for any, this is just for the,
This is for
the schoolhouse.
the
just to have
Lower
it in
Green
school.
Schoolhouse
Yeah, just-
information.
Oh, okay, nothing to do with the,
No,
400?
No,
No,
or whatever's coming up.
400, right?
right.
Yeah, that's in like 20,
35.
oh, good point.
Right, because the memo's already been
Yeah.
sent.
Yeah, I know. Well, we could say that we're doing something about it, right?
What memo?
Well,
About the-
we'll have
There's
that,
no
Yeah.
memo.
and if we want to add the pages in,
No, it
we
was in
can.
the master
In
plan.
other words, the
so-
stuff that has all the events that are going on, and we can have it reprinted, I mean, somebody, any of us gonna be alive in 2035?
I hope.
Price it with two printers and come back, or just use the amount of pages that's in there, because we'll add some more photographs, or we'll surely put some more in there. Something.
Okay, I'll.
I mean, if Bethany did the intro thing, I would be surprised if she doesn't still have it somewhere.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
What year was that? 70-something?
I was around.
2010?
Yeah, 2010 it says on the front.
2010.
Well, that was the year I moved here.
Yeah, I moved here in 08.
So step one is getting prices from the printers. See if any of them are game to make some money and work, and go.
The Jack and Willett house is in there.
Okay, so the
Yeah. What place is
first
it?
18 pages are events from the 375th, so it wouldn't be in there.
Right.
Okay, so that we would not have.
Right.
This is all we have.
So
Yeah.
we'll probably add some photographs, and maybe I add some articles, but just get a ballpark price,
Okay.
and see what's,
Yeah.
go from there.
44 pages, though? You think we'll add, we only have we're not gonna add 18 pages.
Okay,
of material.
round down.
Maybe help if we add 10.
But I mean, we
Okay.
might be able to
Yeah.
put in some of the indigenous people's information that we dig up and, you know.
And whatever the subject of the day is. And Lon, it's not as, once they print, like printing bumper stickers, the first 50 cost 100.
Oh, of course.
The extra 100 only cost $10 more.
Yeah.
Well,
So we might,
price goes way down if I do the scanning and not them. I mean, because that saves us $235 right there.
But you can do all the scanning and preprint yourself, right?
and
Yeah,
we've
and
got the,
and so I can move it in and set up the page and, you know, everything, do all that. They would probably come in and, take this and make sure that it's on this side, on that page,
Yeah.
which is that side of
Yeah, right.
this
right.
page over
Yeah.
here. They'll do that. They said they'd do that part of it. It's the scanning and setting up each page that takes the time. And that's why I said I can do that. Okay. So that'll be a couple-month project. Because we're not going to open the school yet.
That's your winter project.
Huh?
That's your winter
That's my winter
project.
project. That and doing the sign, I didn't do it last winter. The 375th sign, that needs repainting.
It's in the back of
Speaking
school house.
of signs, the sign on 1A, right, almost right at the Rowley line,
Yeah.
that's the Newbury Salt Marsh sign,
Oh,
is that ours?
States, isn't it?
Mass Highways,
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think.
The one that's almost not visible
Yeah,
anymore?
it really needs some work.
Well, apparently, I think I asked about this a gazillion years ago now.
We worked on it. We had a contact at Mass DOT and it never went.
But I believe the one that's on the bridge, one of the,
Mhm.
that goes over one of the, part of the river there, not the bridge. The Boy Scouts repainted it the last time it was done.
Okay.
So, I don't know, you know any Boy Scouts? Don't look at me.
Well, I guess the 44 is not going to be around anymore. No kids in it. The last of them.
There won't be any Boy Scouts in another 10 years. That's all. They're just going to design it.
All right, anything else for tonight?
The roof of one, I should discuss this with my husband first. You know, that one over.
All right,
Lisa Langieri gave us a teaching easel, and I had her sign a deed of gift form,
okay.
and it was in the Blood Estate one of the buildings.
Mhm.
So she gave it to us, it's from 1918. Lon had one when he was a
Mine
kid.
was red though, this was
And
blue.
it actually rolls, it's really cool. We have it at the schoolhouse, and she said if she finds anything else that she thinks we might be interested, she'll let us know, so.
Okay,
Good.
good, so duly noted.
That's another project for the winter, the thing that folds down and makes it like a table, needs a new
Yeah.
bolt in it.
Yeah.
I can do that this winter.
Yeah, I don't want to touch anything from 1918, thank you very much.
All right,
My father was born.
Yeah, I was born in 1919, my mother was born in 1919. There's a little generational problem. Okay, I think that's all. You don't have any of the emails that I don't know about, right?
nope,
Okay, so,
that's everything. I've got that one in my pocket.
okay, so everybody should have their old business stuff that we need unfinished things to fix and do and work on, so we may not have a meeting next month. This was hopefully going to be an October, November meeting, where it's late, and we'll see what happens, so thank you all.
Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
on Eva, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.